Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I actually want to talk about my comic book shop. So, I don't tend to reference them a lot, to be honest, and I wanted to give a bit of a shout out because they do tend to put on things quite a lot. And a couple of weeks ago, they put on a panel in the shop, just on I think it was the first, so it was a couple of weeks ago now. The first of this month, they had a panel of 3 or 4 comic book writers and artists, and there was one name in particular that I really wanted to go and see, and that was Ram V. He is someone that I've been kind of following for a couple of years now. I want to say the first thing I read of his was probably These Savage Shores. I got that as a Close Encounters. That's my comic book shop. It was an exclusive cover that they've got, and I read it, and it was about, I want to say it's turn of the century 1800s, England and India, and it's based around the same time of the sort of East Indian Trading Company when England were essentially getting spices from India, and it's a supernatural thriller in which there's a big bad vampire from England who tries to outrun the authorities and the sort of Van Helsing character, and he gets on a boat to India, and the Van Helsing character, again, as far as I remember, the Van Helsing character catches up with him in India and finds him beheaded. And that's the point where he goes, right, there's clearly things that are more dangerous here than anything we've encountered. And it was a really interesting thing set to the background of the politics of the day compared to the supernatural element. And it's something that I've always appreciated when someone does something really well, when they incorporate pop culture into history. I think it can work really, really well. So I read that and I thought, wow, this is really good. I really hope there's a second volume. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a second volume so far, but fingers crossed. After that, a couple of years, it was probably a couple of years ago now, I want to say 2021 or so, I was able to review a copy of a book called Blue in Green, which was a jazz book about a New Orleans music teacher who finds out his mum has died and has to go back to sort of reconnect with his roots, reconnect with his family, and actually ends up seeing that his mum isn't so different to him. And it was an incredibly powerful story. The visuals are stunning, absolutely stunning. It's something that reminds me very much of Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum. I've got it here. I'll show you a couple of things. But I did actually do a review of it for the website. For those of you who've been keeping up, I used to now write for a website. Unfortunately, the website has gone down. But that was incredible. So I got a copy of this, an advanced copy, read it, wrote a review, and I thought this book is incredible. And I remember the review going out on Twitter, and Ram V was tagged in it, and he said, "Oh, thanks very much for the review." And I said, "No problem. Just speaking truthfully, to be honest, I really enjoyed this book, and I picked it out. I believe I picked it out as probably one of the best of that year, and I do still think that it's probably one of the best books I've read. I really do." And I did say in a mini thread with Ram on that when I've got myself a copy, I would really appreciate that he signed it. And there we go. I don't think he remembered me. There's no way he would remember someone who just wrote a review, because he probably gets that a lot. But it really meant a lot to me. And he was incredibly nice, incredibly generous, and he took the time. It wasn't just a quick signature. Like you saw, he did a bit of a doodle, which I really did appreciate. So it's an incredible experience to meet someone like that, someone who is such a big person within the industry, and find out that they are very nice. I've met a couple of people like that, and it's always it's heartwarming to find out that they are really nice people. It really is. It's not something that you want your sort of the heroes that you have to find out that they're awful, and it's a great thing to find out that they're not, and they do take the time. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it in any kind of doodle. I was expecting just a signature, and I would have been happy with that, without doubt. But to get the doodle, I thought was just an extra step, and it really solidified the fact that he's there and he takes his time with people. I will show. He did do a little doodle for me in These Savage Shores, which is kind of cool. But he is also, I did say this to him, he is also the person that's writing Carnage. Now, Carnage being one of my favourite characters, there is. Carnage being one of my favourite characters, I couldn't not get issue 1 of Carnage signed by him. So that is a big deal for me, without a doubt, because I love Carnage. I love this series. This series has been incredible so far. I use that term a lot. It's been a fantastic series. It brings the kind of fun back to Carnage, yet you still remember that he's a serial killer. You can still have fun with that character, but yet also know that he is a truly horrifying person. He really is. But overall, I will say that is still one of the best books that I've read. And to get myself a signed copy, I was absolutely elated by. So I'm kind of giving a shout out to Close Encounters, just saying thank you so much. They do put on these things occasionally for the fans. And I don't think they get enough love for it, to be honest. So thank you very much, Close Encounters, for that. Thanks to Bob, Katie, and everyone that works there. And I am looking forward to the next one, without a doubt. But guys, if you have read Blue and Green or These Savage Shores, or even if you have read the new Carnage series, let me know what you guys think about down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because it really does help me out. And I'll see you all in the next video.